Hi guys, welcome back to the channel, Subsistence Traveling. I'm your host Jay. Today we're talking about the war on productivity. See, people speak about inequality. One of the biggest contributors to inequality is the lack of productivity, and that's among the common man. Productivity is what creates true wealth, not the amount of money you have. Quality of life is true wealth, not the amount of money. The quality of life has gone down for most people in the developed world. The biggest factor is that governments and the business community bring forth policies that make the average man unproductive. Many people think there will be less traffic on roads after lockdown are over. Wrong. Governments will come with policies that increase your travel time. In this video, I'm going to discuss a few ways we will be less productive. All right, so I'm going to give you some time to check out the disclaimer. And I encourage us to let's connect. Follow me on Twitter at subsistencetra1. Also support Patreon at patreon.com subsistence traveling. I have links below. All right, so here's the outline. We're going to first speak about wealth, the lockdowns, the aftermath, and the purpose. All right, so we begin with wealth. And I want you to remember this: the wealthy will never do anything to enhance productivity or quality of life in a meaningful way. Okay? The wealthy or the powers that be will never come up with an idea that makes you more productive, efficient, or enhance your quality of life in any meaningful way. Right now, everyone is talking about technology and how it will improve our lives. Well, they're good at selling dreams. For instance, they're pushing wind and solar power, two of the most inefficient power sources. If you live outside of a major city, your power won't be consistent. Have you ever called customer service and spoke with the machine? You realize what a waste of time when you could have spoken with a human being. GPS doesn't always give the best route. A lot of us think this will be a time of innovation. However, innovative is not a characteristic of the super wealthy. Whatever new technology will not improve our lives in any meaningful way. And that's something I want you guys to think about. All right, so let's talk about this lockdown. This lockdown reminds me a lot of 9/11 in that it creates a lot of regulations that make us unproductive. Imagine flying after this lockdown. You're going to be dealing with TSA or whatever security agency in your country. On top of that, you're going to be dealing with these new health related guidelines, temperature checks, and so forth. And, another thing is social distancing. Social distancing, what you have to understand, wealth is created a lot by the gathering of people. And if people are social, are distanced socially, obviously that's going to make people less productive, and also it's going to make it hard to generate wealth. Okay, and we all know this is meant to control us, and as far as these riots are another tool against productive people. People are just stealing. you know when you see riots and mass looting that we're seeing, that's just an example, and that's just foresight that we're heading into a very unproductive, inefficient environment. All right, so we're gonna talk about the aftermath. Okay, and one of the things you're gonna see a change in the population. You're going to see a very lazy and entitled population. Because, see, when people feel used and they feel entitled and underpaid, the quality of service will go down. No matter how much money you're spending, people will treat you like it's nothing. Pretty much money will lose its value. You're going to also have lots of classism, you know, and basically we've already seen high levels of inequality, but we're going to have more classism. Classism leads to corruption and inequality. See, when people classism is another form of entitlement. Classism says I'm entitled to this because I come from this background, I come from this family, or I live in this area, or, classism is a form of entitlement. And so once people feel entitled, it goes to corruption because, people will do whatever it takes to maintain that status and to get into that position. So that's one of the things you have to look for. Long lines, you've already seen it, long lines going to a supermarket. You know, if you've traveled to Latin America, right now I'm in South America, and, a trip to the supermarket, can take a long time. And in addition, with these lockdown measures, it's just crazy. So expect long lines, bad traffic. I know a lot of you guys think, traffic is gonna improve because more people working from home. If I know governments are gonna come up with some way to mess that up. So expect traffic to be worse in the future. Clean energy. Clean energy is, especially the way it's being enacted, is one of the worst ideas. You're going from a uh, dense source of power like fossil fuels, and you're going to a less dense, form of power. And it's nothing wrong with the having clean energy, but I believe clean energy is going to be used as a is going to be one form of inequality because, you know um I think you're gonna, if you live outside of a big city, um, you're going to see power outages and so forth. You know, I think clean energies is a way to bring forth inequality as it regards to energy. And you need energy to do anything. I think they'll probably even come up with a rule. They'll probably say, like, okay, in this area after 8 o'clock, we're gonna shut off the electricity. And that way you cannot be productive because you need energy to be productive. Also, you're gonna see high debt loads. When you look at this whole situation, this was a forced shutdown. And many people had to close their businesses. This is gonna create a high demand for debt, high demand for credit. You're going to also have more zombie corporations that just live off of credit. So, high debt loads is another thing that makes people unproductive because, more and more of your resources is going to paying down debt. So that's something to consider. You wonder what the quality of life will be like in the future. All right, so I'm going to speak on the purpose. The purpose is plain and simple. I mean, it's not complicated. I think I would be doing you guys a disservice if I told you that this is something complicated. It's very simple. People just want to maintain status and power and to control wealth. You know, um, you think about why these people moved all the production to China. China didn't just take those jobs. A lot of US based and Western developed world based companies move their operations and their manufacturing to China. So that basically tells you they don't want you to have the ability to produce goods and services. They just want you to be a consumer. Okay, to produce things in the US is just absolutely difficult. And even if you can't, if you even if you can find a manufacturer, a lot of times you have to source the materials from outside the US. You know, and you could thank the wealthy and the elite for that. It's not, that's who did that, because they want to control wealth. Okay. All right, so here's my final thought. Going forward, patience is gonna be a virtue. You know, like I said, I travel a lot, and especially with traveling, patience. I remember once I was in Mexico City. I was flying back into the U.S. from Mexico City, and I went to the airport. They say for international flights, 3 hours. You should be at the airport 3 hours before your flight. I got to the airport 3 hours before my flight and almost missed my flight. It's just a very slow level of service, and so that's, I don't think a lot of us in the developed world is used to that, but we're gonna have to get used to it. That's what I see coming. you know um Traveling in Latin America, going to the supermarket. Oh my God, even before these lockdowns, going to the supermarket in Latin America is like, it's an event, because you can spend so much time in a line when there's not even much people in front of you. So imagine with all of these lockdowns, and we have to, it's lines to get into the supermarket and so forth. So patience will be a virtue. Expect reversion. When I say expect reversion, society is going to revert back to, I don't know, some kind of, maybe even some kind of, maybe even some kind of feudal system, kind of dark ages kind of society. Modernism is finished with, the age of people with reason and logic and so forth. That's done. You're gonna be in a world of highly irrational and unproductive people, and jealousy and so forth. So expect reversion. Again, changes in people mindset. You know, you're gonna be in a more corrupt, um, just more evil, a lot more jealousy and covetousness. Uh, just a very crazy atmosphere, man. I mean, if you can do something to avoid it, I would, because the mindset of people are gonna go evil. Okay. All right. So I encourage you guys to stay tuned, like and share my videos, subscribe to the channel, follow on Twitter, and support the Patreon. As far as the Twitter and the Patreon, I'm gonna have links below, so could just definitely check that out. As I always say, peace to all.